What's up, everybody? Special non-canon file here. I am one of your four co-hosts today, Tanner, and with me, as per usual, I got...
It's Captain Pat.
Colt.
Captain Wenzel.
Wow, okay, y'all both did the captain bit. That was a choice.
Wenzel the Accuser. Okay.
Great. And today, in the special non-canon file, we are reviewing Captain Marvel. We're literally sitting in my car outside the movie theater.
We just finished it.
I'm
full.
Let's cut the bullshit. What did we think of the movie?
I liked it a lot. I thought it was really good.
I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun.
I enjoyed it as well.
I thought it was. I actually thought it was pretty great. So I went in completely blind, similar to what I did with like Guardians of Black Panther. Like I don't really know much of the Captain Marvel lore, and very pleasantly surprised. I think this movie stands alone as because I mean obviously it's coming out at a weird time. It's coming out between the two big Avenger films. Like Avengers Endgame is in like 7 weeks, and I don't know. It's a great standalone film in the MCU. Like it stands on its own two legs just fine. I actually think, like getting into it, I think this movie had some of the best actual acting in an MCU movie.
There was one person though that the acting was so bad for me.
Oh, who?
It was spoilers, by the way. This is going to have
Oh
spoilers.
yeah, we should preface this by reviewing this movie. There's going to be spoilers. There's going to be post-credit discussion. So if you don't want to listen to that, go see the movie. Just know it's good and come back and listen to this.
But the spoiler is it's I can't remember her name. She was the best friend of
Monica Rambeau.
Yeah, Rambo.
You didn't think she was good?
I thought she was pretty bad at some parts. Like specifically whenever the Skrull guy comes out of nowhere. I can't remember what the line was, but she's delivered it so bad.
Is it the one where she talked about kicking his ass?
It was one before that.
It
was very short, but it made me go, ooh, ew.
See, I guess I didn't really notice that because I thought, like, I mean, I think Monica was definitely a weaker character than Carol or Nick, which, by the way, Samuel L. in this movie fucking killed it.
He's the co-lead in the movie.
Yeah, I thought I was going to be thrown off by the fact they try to make him look fucking however years old. Samuel L. Jackson as he would have looked in 1995. I was a little thrown off by that the first time seeing the images in the trailer, but as soon as the movie starts and we meet Nick Fury, don't notice it at all. It's completely seamless.
I thought that was him, just him normally. He somehow reversed age.
It kind of
He just sucked it in.
you kind of forget that Samuel L. Jackson's how old is Samuel L?
He's got to be in his 80s.
Yeah, he's in his 70s.
I was gonna say if he's not 70s, probably late 60s.
Yeah, so old. And passed as a reasonable young man. Also, shout out, we learn in this movie Nick Fury is from Huntsville, Alabama. Which probably makes him the most famous person in Alabama. I hope.
Gucci Mane.
Is Gucci Mane from Alabama?
I think Birmingham. Specifically Birmingham?
Let's see. Gucci Mane, Nick Fury, Channing Tatum.
I can work with that.
Courtney Cox as well. That's it.
Well, I think the thing was funny how when he said I was from Huntsville, Alabama, there's a smattering of murmurs oh he's from Alabama.
But no, there was audible cheers. There was woo.
Yeah, no. As soon as he said Huntsville, Alabama, I nodded over, or I hit Tanner hey.
Yeah. No, there was a reasonable pop in the theater, which was funny because where we live, we're 2.5 hours from Huntsville, so it's not. I mean, we're kind of close, but I guess it was just oh, Nick Fury's from Alabama, hell yeah. So we're not gonna give a scene by scene breakdown in this movie, especially with Endgame coming out in just 7 weeks, and I think that will be the movie to really digest into. So we're just going to be giving our general thoughts, our positives and our negatives. I just want to say, best new character, 2019 goes to Goose.
Yeah.
Thanks, Winslow.
Goose was pretty awesome.
No, again, spoilers, but I had looked on Instagram and there was this little fun little Marvel fact, and they were talking about how there's a race. I can't remember what the race was called, but there's a race of like creatures that look like cats, but in reality they're like these tentacle monsters that are like fucking huge. Like their size is just completely just misleading. And I was like, I wonder if Goose is one of those things. And yeah, it turned out he's a little fucking monster that I love with all my heart.
Yeah, so
They
Goose.
spent half the movie's budget on that cat.
Yep.
When it was in the CGI mode.
I could believe it. So I guess we should probably mention like the overarching like premise of the movie. I guess where so Captain Marvel. The beginning of the movie feels really disjointed, which is probably my least favorite part of the movie was those first 15 minutes because again it gets answered later on, but those first 15 minutes are a fucking whirlwind if you have no idea about Captain Marvel lore, I'm assuming. Well, it was for me anyways, because like they just throw you right in. It's like, what's up? I'm Vers. Veers. Okay, let me just say it should be pronounced Vers.
It should.
Yeah, in the movie, whenever Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, when she in her accident, her dog tag gets split in half, and the part that they recover is the end of her last name Danvers, so it just says Vers, but they pronounce it Veers. It's really weird.
That would be like if my name was Tenier. That's not how that works. VERS is Vers.
Those Cree, man.
They just don't know how to fucking read. But so you get thrown into that immediately. Fast forward, back on planet Earth, starts having a bunch of flashbacks. I don't want to say it's a typical Marvel movie origin story formula, but it kind of is in the fact that and I'm not saying that as a bad thing, but they kind of just throw you in, you get a bunch of origin story, and then you're like, well, now we have to put this ragtag team of people together and save the world, and that's kind of what it is. But also, I think this story, like I think the movie itself had like a lot more heart. Seems like the wrong word, but like it's like actual better acting in this movie. So it felt more like just a movie than a Marvel movie, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Also, did anybody notice there were weird parts in the movie where like the screen would be like wide. It would take up like the whole, like the shot would take up the whole screen, and then there were times where like there'd be bars where like it would cut and it would look like little black bars at the bottom of the top and bottom. Did anybody notice that?
No.
That's
You were closing your eyes.
you were just in mid blink.
Oh, obviously, what happens is since the movie takes place on Earth in 1995, they're going to replicate what movies were in 1995. So the screen ratio is different.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
They shot the movie in fucking. The movie is formatted for 4:3 on a movie theater screen.
Yeah.
Great, great, Winslow. Thanks.
I'm gonna throw this out there.
Say it.
Captain Marvel is now my favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe hero
Oh, really? Why?
because she was fucking awesome. Brie Larson's an amazing job.
Yeah.
She was the best part. Well, it is a movie about fucking.
It's about
she is
Captain Marvel. Yeah, it is about
She did an amazing job, and I'm looking forward to more of whatever she's gonna do in the Marvel universe.
Yeah, when I watched the trailers, I was like, oh man, I'm excited for Captain Marvel, but I don't know, something about her acting, I was worried. I was like, oh, that's kind of, I don't know, it seemed kind of awkward, especially like her little line, and I don't know if anybody they changed it in the movie. She never said it, but in the trailers, she would say, I'm not going to fight your war, I'm going to end it. But the way she says in the trailers, I mean, I don't know, it didn't sound too bad. I was just kind of like, maybe they should change that up, and they actually did end up changing that line.
They listened to you.
I hope not.
Thanks, Winslow, for getting that edited out. I will say, I like Brie Larson a whole lot. Like, I like her, a ton of her other stuff. So, but obviously this was a really big, different role for Brie Larson. So I wasn't worried about her acting ability per se. I was more worried about how she would adjust to it. But, like, at this point, just got that Marvel movie magic, and they just make anything good. And Brie Larson was incredible in this movie.
Yeah, I'm not worried about Brie Larson, her acting. Her acting's great. She's a wonderful actress, but it's like like you said, I was worried about how she would adjust. I mean, she doesn't ever play like a superhero, especially a badass superhero, which, by the way, like Colt said, like she is fucking awesome. She wrecks some shit. Like, can we talk about the whole fight scene in space? Like, not only like her fight scene on Marvel's research station, but also her scene where she destroyed one of the fucking accuser bombers. That shit was so fucking badass. Like, that was so awesome. Like, and by the way, that's almost also that I loved about Captain Marvel was that like it connects the two like universes, like, or the whole like, Guardians space, and then the Avengers and all of those here and stuff. It's like Earth, and then like there's Thor. It's like the mystical realm or whatever. Like this, it more connects the two worlds of like all the aliens and shit and what's happening on Earth. Like, even though everybody try to keep it fucking quiet on Earth with Shield and stuff, but like it kind of connects those two parts of the universe of the Marvel cinematic universe.
Did you see people characters from the older like space movies return, like we said, Ronan the Accuser? He comes back, but he's not in the same exactly the same form that you see him in I can't believe I'm blanking, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, no, the form that he takes in Guardians of the Galaxy is completely different from what it looks like in here. We see a young, fresh Ronan the Accuser. And,
young babyface Ronan.
Yeah, and then we see what's his name? Korath, I think. Korath the Pursuer as well.
Which one is he?
He was the guy that in the very beginning he talked about how he doesn't laugh. He laughs on the inside.
Oh, I knew he was familiar.
Yeah, he was in the Guardians of the Galaxy 1, and he gets fucked up in Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, he dies.
Yeah.
Whoa, okay, spoilers.
R.I.P.
We knew we were getting Captain Marvel spoilers, not Guardian spoilers.
Yondu dies.
Oh, shit.
Shut up.
So I will say, I thought it was interesting. I don't know if all the Marvel movies at this point, but like Wenzel and I noticed in the credit, the post-sound production was actually done by Skywalker Studios, which is obviously Lucasfilm owns Skywalker Studios. And I noticed in the space scenes, the music, and I don't know if it's just because of like the culture at this point, but like I noticed it sounded like fucking Star Wars in space. Like, did anybody else feel that
That's just what space sounds like.
Does space just sound like Star Wars at this point?
Yeah. I mean, they're the kind of the trendsetters, and plus, like, I'm sure they wanted to like exercise that little relationship they have. It's like, hey, we're probably never going to see Star Wars and Marvel really collide, so like we'll have this little bitty like flex to the Star Wars universe because we'll have like very familiar sounding tunes.
Yeah,
with the music. Which is something I wanted to bring up. It's like how they're able to for me how they're able to make the movie seem like obviously a very modern 2019 movie, but also feel like a 90s movie. Like just in terms of obviously the aesthetics, that's what they're wearing, but like just in sort of like how the movie was shot and like the feel of the movie, it feels like it's a movie from the 90s.
And listen, I'm just going to say this right now. Any movie that uses waterfalls by TLC is an automatic good-ass movie. It's a tried and true. Watch fucking We're the Millers. They use fucking waterfalls by TLC. Pretty good movie because of that scene. Captain Marvel uses waterfalls by TLC. Guess what? Fucking good movie.
There's also another part that I absolutely love is whenever they had this a CD or a disc of audio from the black box of Captain Marvel's crash when she was still on Earth, and they put it in the computer and it's loading and it like cuts to each of their faces and they're just obviously like, fuck, this is technology back then. It's slow. The computer's really slow, and I love the that one Skrull who was their scientist was just like it was just done.
Yeah, There, obviously now, it's a staple with the after Guardians, in a post-Guardians world, the Marvel movies are going to have to be funny.
Yeah, the whole seriousness has just been, there still is seriousness, but, you think, with this alien race that, they'd be, oh, big bad, I don't know, just the whole moments of, them, sitting down, having a conversation. I mean, fuck, even at the end, they're in Earth, the Skrulls who are left alive, they're in Earth clothes and just sitting having dinner. With just humans, it's just fine. It's normal. I just love that. I love that yeah.
I did like the I guess I never heard the character's name, but like the lead scroll that's in the movie, how he's
Talos?
I really enjoyed his character.
Oh yeah, Talos is great. Who was the guy? Mendelsohn, I think is the last name of the actor. He was in Star Wars Rogue One.
Yeah, I knew that's who he was.
Yeah, he played the
he played the guy with the cape. I don't know his name.
Yeah, he was the lead fucker.
Oh yeah.
You know, lead fucker. His name was Ben Mendelsohn, the actor that played Talos. But yeah, I mean, I think I was just really surprised by the actual acting in this movie. Like, and with the this movie, I know people, are if you're like, oh, some of these Marvel movies shouldn't be funny, blah blah blah, which you have your qualms, whatever. This movie, the humor doesn't seem out of place. Like, it feels like it has like that sort of Guardians vibe in the way where like somebody has a quick quip or something and like makes a joke, and it doesn't be like, well, that throws off the whole tone of the movie. Like, it kind of works.
It's a more balanced like drama to like comedy ratio.
Yeah,
for me, I think.
No, I completely agree with you. Like, it's definitely a more balanced ratio in the sense that it's not. It doesn't feel too try-hardy. Like, I think some of the jokes in Infinity War, while I think Infinity War is a great film and a Marvel, haha, wink, in itself, I think that Captain Marvel definitely balances it better than Infinity War and probably balances the comedy to actual drama like as well to me as Guardians and like Ragnarok. Like, I put it on that tier, which is very high praise because I think those are some of the best Marvel movies, period. And I don't know. I guess it just shocked me because I really didn't expect it to be funny. Like, I don't know. Like, I didn't expect
the trailer has an old woman getting punched.
That's true, but like I figured that was more shock value than supposed to be comical, maybe. Yeah. But like, I guess I should have expected again better because I wasn't blown away by like the humor in Infinity War. I wasn't like, oh fuck me, this movie is hilarious. But like, there's actually like some genuinely like laugh out loud moments in Captain Marvel, which surprised me.
Well, I think a lot of the humor was really helped by Samuel L. Jackson because, like we said, he's such a phenomenal, I guess, presence in the movie. Like, he's easily one of my favorite parts.
Yeah, no. Whenever Samuel L. Jackson finds Goose and just immediately falls in love with him, I would be him in that situation. I would fall in love with that cat, like, especially with how friendly it was. Which, did we already say that he loses his eye to that fucking cat?
Is that canon?
Yes, that's canon.
Yeah, that's canon.
What do you mean? Is it
like
canon?
in the actual comics, did his eye get scratched out by a cat?
I'm gonna go say no.
No, it didn't. But I mean, it's just funny because like it it just doesn't take itself too seriously. I like that.
Well, what I wasn't sure until the end. Like, I thought they kept teasing like Nick losing his eye. But I was like, okay, they're actually gonna like show the origin of his losing his eye, and I guess they kind of did.
I mean, yeah, they pretty much did because, like, from what we understood, it's like Nick Fury's a super secret badass dude, and then in this movie we see that he's not. I mean, he's still pretty badass, but he's like, I mean, he's just your average dude who gets caught up in this intergalactic war. And it's just there's so much mystery surrounding him, especially with his eye. They're like, oh, how'd he lose his eye? How'd he lose his eye? And then in the movie, we just see he's messing with a cat, and it scratches his eye out. And then we also see at the end, whenever Phil Coulson comes up, he's like, so you lost your eye? Why you didn't surrender the Tesseract over the Kree? Like, making it sound so heroic. And Fury's like, yeah.
He's literally like, I will neither confirm nor deny these reports. And like, I don't know, like, you kind of forget that, like, Samuel L. Jackson is even in these movies because Nick Fury does play a part, kind of, like, not as pivotal. Like, it's just like, oh, hi, I'm Samuel L. Jackson. I'm here sometimes. While in this movie, like, you just get reminded of, like, how fucking good Samuel L. Jackson is and, like, everything. And, like, this is no exception. Well, no, I haven't seen Glass. But in this movie, I would argue to say, like, he's, like, the best character in the movie outside of actually Captain Marvel, which, I mean, is like, you can argue like, oh, they're the leads, but just because they're the leads don't mean they're the best actors in their own movies. But yeah, and I love how fucking like important Goose is. Goose swallows the Tesseract. Haven't even mentioned that Goose ate like 4 fucking dudes, and also is the reason Nick Fury lost his eye. Like, that cat is canonically the most important animal in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
Like,
We're mentioning the Tesseract because that's actually it's like the MacGuffin of the movie, and how it's how it's the point where that's where the conflict centers around. That's how Captain Marvel gets her powers. She gets like radiation from the Tesseract, gives her like her energy beams. Although I will say, like, I'm a little confused about the timeline of the Tesseract now. Like, how it, okay, if it's on Earth in the 90s, how does it get to Asgard and the OOs?
The cat.
Oh, shit. That is actually kind of confusing.
Because like it's on Earth. Cause I can see how it goes to space, because when it gets beamed up to the end of Captain America, it's in space or whatever, and I guess they found it in space. And it's on Earth in the 90s, and then somehow it gets to Asgard and Thor.
No. You remember in Captain America, it doesn't get beamed up. They find it.
That's right.
Yeah, they find it in the ocean. Whenever Howard Stark goes to look for Captain America, they find that, but they can't find Cap. Yeah. So I guess they held on to it. It got, because, by the way, yeah, Marvel held on to it because that's how she was trying to figure out a way to learn how to create light speed, like how to travel at the speed of light speed drive or whatever. And which a huge misleading thing about the movie is the conflict, because you're thinking, the Skrulls are the bad guys, the Kree, Captain Marvel, they're trying to fight them and stop them from infiltrating, when in reality they're actually trying to find a new home, because the Kree destroyed their world and are trying to essentially commit genocide against them. And Marvel, one of the Kree who is on Earth, she's trying to figure this out to help get the Skrulls to a new world, and that's why Talos is trying to look for Marvel's space station, because his family's on that space station. So, but anyway, that's where they find the Tesseract, and I don't know. I guess there's something had to happen between Goose coughing up the Tesseract and then it getting to Asgard and then it getting back to Earth for Avengers. So, I don't know. I wonder how they're gonna fix that. Yeah.
Probably not.
My I mean, either it's going to be one of those things where you're just like, yeah, so what?
Actually, there's 2 Tesseracts.
What if that's part of the whole, like, I don't know, Marvel multiverse or whatever. But I was thinking, what if they explain that in the supposedly the Loki Marvel show, where it shows like what happened during Loki's life, that he somehow got the test. I don't know. Okay.
I'm thinking it's probably like we saw Goose cough up which, by the way, is a post-credit scene.
The very last post-credit
scene.
Yeah,
the second post-credit scene after you sit through the 20 billion names that worked on this fucking film.
It feels like the credits were longer for this one. Was it? Or maybe that's crazy.
I mean, probably, because I imagine with each and every Marvel movie, they're like, yeah, Captain Marvel's a semi-unknown property. Let's spend $200 million on this movie. I imagine you have to employ quite a fair number of people. Also love that the agency that they got Goose from in the credits is literally just called Animals for Hollywood. Yeah. Like, it sounds like some shady shit. Like, they're just like, they found like in between an Office Depot and some shit in like California somewhere. It's like, yeah, this cat's ready for movies, sure.
Imagine being like you're the agent to like an animal actor. Like, what is the process that entail?
I don't
make sure they don't do drugs.
Yeah, you definitely want to keep that cat clean. So overall, I mean, obviously we all like the movie.
Yeah.
So
we should probably talk about the first post-credit scene. That was absolutely insane scene. Yeah, no, the first post-credit scene literally cuts to right after Avengers Infinity War, where the Avengers that are left on Earth, Captain America, Black Widow, Hulk, and did we see War Machine in there? Don Cheadle? Yeah, they had Nick Fury's little pager, Captain Marvel's pager, and it stopped, and they're like wondering, like, how do we get to come back on? Well, we need to find out. And Black Widow's like, I want to know who's on the other end of that line. Turns around, bam! Captain Marvel's right behind her, and she says, "Where's Fury?" And fuck me, it sent chill down my body.
Captain Marvel, there's instant transmission.
Like, it's kind of crazy too, because like it feels like a scene that is in Endgame, which feels weird. Like most of the other post-credit scenes don't have like, oh, this would fit well in the movie. I'm trying to understand how we know about that scene already.
It feels like it's 2015 or somewhere whenever Endgame's happening.
But that's a random thought.
90s has a red hue on it. Everything 90s had a weird red hue.
Okay.
He's talking about how, like, you know, like you said, like when it gets to the first end credit scene, it literally, like you said, it looks like Endgame. That's because Endgame's like the color, the tint of the filming is like what, a gray or bluish.
Yes.
And then with Captain Marvel, it's like a red yellow. And I don't know. I guess time does change the tint of everything.
Yeah.
Also, there's more technology.
Well, I mean, obviously that it just feels like a scene that belongs somewhere in Endgame.
Oh, yeah.
Like I don't know.
They filmed for Endgame, just cut it out and stuck it at the end of Captain Marvel.
Yeah, exactly. Like it feels like I don't know. So like, is Endgame going to start? And they're just like, man, I'm fucking glad Captain Marvel is here, huh?
Well, see, what's interesting now is that it's confirmed that Captain Marvel we'll see her on Earth before like we encounter her in space. Because, you know, there's a lot of people, which, I mean, she could still end up saving, like, you know, there's a lot of theories like, Captain Marvel's going to go into space and save Tony and stuff. But it's like, no, she goes to Earth first for that. Because, she gets there really fucking fast, obviously. So, I'm curious. I want to see Endgame.
Crazy. Hot take. I think Endgame is going to be kind of good. So that kind of obviously fucking awesome post-credit scene.
Yeah.
But like it kind of just threw me off of like, that feels like a scene in the movie. Cuz I was actually surprised in the there was only 2 trailers in the actual movie before the movie. We got a Dumbo trailer and we got a Lion King trailer, and it's the old Lion King trailer. The Dumbo trailer maybe have been new, but the Lion King trailer definitely wasn't new. Like I was expecting a new Avengers trailer, but I wonder if the post-credit scene is kind of supposed to be like our Avengers teaser, like, hey, this is going to happen in the movie. It's going to take like 45 seconds. Don't sweat it, but y'all get to see it first.
Nah.
It also took us 20 minutes before the movie actually started.
Yeah, it took,
because
it was delayed by fucking 20 minutes, and I was about to go crazy.
There's some theater stuff happening, like, but we thought it was funny, like when they actually started playing the movie, they actually started like the preview stuff that they play like 20 to 30 minutes before the actual movie starts.
Yeah, it took them quite a while, but that's fine.
They lost the film.
It was so funny because like the movie started at 7 p.m. and like it gets to 7 and like weird, they haven't even started like the previews before the previews yet. Like like here's Amazon's latest new show and here's 1,000 Diet Coke commercials. Yeah, trivia. And, like, we didn't get any of that. And then it's, like, 10 after 7, and then that starts. And then I'm like, are we going to have to sit here and watch all this shit and then watch preview? Because, obviously, I was expecting, like, 20 minutes worth of trailers. And then get to Captain Marvel. But then guy comes in, he's like, hey, guys, we're skipping all that shit. We're going straight to the trailers. Hold on tight. And everybody just fucking loses their mind. They're like, yeah. It wasn't like it was like 15 minutes late. But it was just, like, kind of weird because, like, they throw on that. And then it shut off. Like, it was a weird theater experience. We saw it in IMAX 2D, which is just better sound and, like, a crisper picture. And, like, full house. There's probably a couple of spare seats open. Like, I know the seat by us was open because we smell like shit. But mostly Wenzel.
That's a little theater trick. If you don't want people sitting next to you to smell like a dookie bag.
Let me tell you, I smell wonderful. I'm gonna go ahead and say that. I love. Never mind.
Brag much?
Here's the thing: theater trick. If you don't want anybody to sit by you, go with a group of 4 or more and just talk about all sorts of stupid shit nobody wants to hear about, and they won't sit by you.
Exactly. That's what we did.
That's exactly what we did.
So,
gross nerds.
Yeah. Oh, nerds. I'm going to sit over here. I did notice there was a guy sitting in front of us, and like it was my goal to get him to laugh. And I noticed right before I made a Rotten Tomatoes comment right before the movie started. I was like, I'm going to leave a bad review on Rotten Tomatoes because I didn't get my Diet Coke ads, and dude fucking lost his shit in front of us. And I was just like, yeah, I'm glad if I could make one person laugh, I was really happy about it.
Yeah, that dude in front of us, as soon as we got in the theater, he asked us, have you guys seen How to Train Your Dragon? And none of us could answer. He's like, damn.
Yeah, he was like, I'm trying to settle the argument. Have any of you seen How to Train Your Dragon? We were like, oh, no, which I've heard nothing but good things about. I just haven't seen it. And he goes, shit. And he just turns around and just starts talking to his friend again. I'm like, I would love to know the context of asking. Keep in mind, at this point, we're literally the only 6 people in the theater.
Yeah.
So I would love to know the context of, I'm going to ask the first strangers I see if they've ever seen How to Train Your Dragon, because I need to know this answer now. I thought that was kind of, I don't know, it just never occurred to me. But I mean, like a good, well-mannered theater. Besides post-credit scene, the first one, there was a lady behind us that started talking, and somebody, I don't know if it was somebody that she was with or a stranger, fucking shut that shit down, because they noticed as soon as they were like, oh fuck, Steve Rogers, shut the fuck up or I'll murder you. Like, it was one of those shushes.
I was hoping to get the stranger. I want that person to feel pain.
Yeah, because, like, you know, we get, like, talk during the credits, whatever, but, like, as soon as it cuts, she's like, wanted to start a whole conversation, and she immediately just get, like, the death, like, shh. Like, it's like the shush you would get from, like, a parent if you were talking in church.
Yeah, it was very embarrassing. It's just like, yeah.
Thanks, Wenzel. Thank you, Wenzel, for that.
I mean, I'm trying to think of like what, like, you compare it to, but like, I mean, it seems like, you know, you're being shushed as a child in school, and it's like there's mostly grown ass people in there. I don't know.
I will say one thing about the movie. So, like, I know obviously Guardians goes for like the 80s vibe, whatever, and Captain Marvel goes for the 90s vibe. I feel, obviously, I was born in 95. I connect a lot more with the 90s vibe than I do the 80s vibe. I wonder if that's like the same across like Marvel's general demographic. Like, I wonder if people that aren't just completely stupid and not self-aware that hate women in leading roles will be like, well, I really connect with this 90s, you know, terrain because, like, I grew up listening to these songs, and I still like, I mean, that's TLC's one fucking incredible. I still listen to Waterfalls all the fucking time because I'm that person. But I wonder if, like, this movie will get sort of like, I don't want to say a cult following, because any movie that makes fucking 9 figures, it's not
just a movie that people like. If it's this big,
yeah, it's just like a generally well-received movie at that point. Like, I wonder if people are going to connect with it in a similar way people connected with Guardians. That's like, oh, you know, haha, it had the fucking Walkman and the awesome mixtape Volume 1 and all these jamming songs. Like, I wonder if people are going to connect with Captain Marvel in that same way. Like, because there wasn't as big as an emphasis on the music in Captain Marvel as there was in Guardians, but, like, still, it's pretty jarring that, like, during the big scene they start playing "Come As You Are." It's like, huh, okay, that seems like a weird place to put music, but I'm digging it, so let's keep going.
It's the 90s. They want to remind you, but like, to your point, I really do feel like with this movie, I really got the sense of like old 90s movie, because they're like, when they're at Monica's house, her giant sprawling mansion and like on a field, like it kind of reminded me of, like, I don't know, Shawshank Redemption, just something about the feel, like something about TLC movies on like a Sunday afternoon. Just like that feels very 90s to me. That's like a very 90s.
No, I get what you're saying,
but like for whatever reason, that feeling really kicked in like during the whole sequence where they're at Monica's house. And for whatever reason, and plus, like I said, I got the feeling like this is a very modern movie, but also it gives me 90s feelings. You know, I was born in 1990s, but like it's just a very hard feeling to articulate. I feel like it captures something from the 90s in the film.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
a very strong spirit.
Yeah, like it has like the semblance of the 90s in it. Like you can feel, it feels weird talking about being like, we're now in the place where the culture is now nostalgic for the 90s, because they showed some fucking fashion from the 90s in this movie, and let me say, holy shit, did people dress like shit in the 90s. Like, I can say this as a child of the 90s. There's baby pictures of me also dressed like shit. But like, man, I don't know if fashion existed before the 2010s. That's my hot take. But I completely agree with you, Pat, and I completely get what you're saying. Like, it definitely has the spirit of the 1990s in this movie, which feels weird because like while there is the music from the 90s, while there is like some very 90s, shit in the movie, they don't like throw in your face like it's 1995, it's 1995, it's 1995. In fact, to even figure out it's 1995, you have to do math. Because, like, you find out that Carol crashed in 1989, and like, it's been 6 years.
Yeah.
So, like, they never explicitly say, it's 1995. And
They did have one moment where the daughter was like, Mom, you just want to stay at home and watch Fresh Prince of Bel-Air with me.
yeah, I kind of get that.
Well, they were a little on the nose at the very beginning when she crashed into Blockbuster, and Nick Fury's like, "Hey, give me the 411 on the late night Dropbox or whatever he said." Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like, of course, they lean into it, of course.
Yeah.
But like, it's there.
But yeah, I mean, exactly. And like Carol asked the cops, like, "Where's the communication center?" And he points to a Radio Shack. It's like, "Oh, haha, they're out of business." That's funny. But I don't know. I completely agree. It embodies the '90s spirit, whatever the '90s spirit may be. I felt it in this movie. But yeah, I mean, does anybody have any other thoughts on the movie besides obviously we all very much enjoyed it? What rate it on a scale of 1 to 10? What would you give it?
Oh, you want me to go first?
Oh, somebody, yeah.
I would say 8.5.
Okay. Pat, what about you?
An 8.
Wenzel?
I would say an 8.5 as well.
I think I would go like a very solid 8.5 on this movie. Like I very much enjoyed it. Like I think it belongs on like the it's probably the tier below the Guardians and Ragnarok for me, but like which is not a knock against the movie at all because I think those are 3 of the best. Like the fact like this movie to me stands toe to toe with like Black Panther and Spider-Man: Homecoming and Winter Soldier, which are 3 very, very good movies in their own right and their own different way. And this movie just feels different than I probably say this every time a Marvel movie comes out at this point, but it just feels different than the rest of them. To the point that I don't know, I very much enjoyed it. So
3 kisses out of 3 kisses.
whoa.
He brings out all 3 kisses. That's rare for Cole.
That is rare, especially when he gave it an 8 and 0.5.
8.5, bro.
That wouldn't translate to 100%. But thank you, everybody, for listening to our Captain Marvel review. We'll definitely be doing one of these for Endgame. There's a couple of other movies coming out this year we're going to be doing these for.
Wink, wink, Star Wars.
Oh, we do a Star Wars. So definitely let us know how you like these. Let us know if there's a movie you want us to do one of these non-canon file reviews for. I mean, we go to the movies a good bit. We'll do them, sure.
Come outside your theater and talk about it.
Yeah, we'll sit in my car outside of your theater. Just tell us what you want us to see. But if you're listening to this podcast, thank you. Yeah, be sure to leave us a rating, a review, a subscription, a like, a comment, all that good stuff on our various podcast archives, feed places, SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Overcast. We're on pretty much everything. If there's something we're not on, let us know, and we'll try to get it there. You can follow us on Twitter at AYCH Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram.com/AYCH Podcast, where everybody just does fantastic work over there. Our Instagram team. You can follow us on Twitch.tv/AllYouCanHear, which if you're listening to this, on today, Friday, March the 8th, next week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we will be doing some Mario stuff. Wednesday to celebrate Mario Day, but except for 3 days. Wednesday, March the 13th, we will be playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. On Thursday, we will be playing Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And on Friday, we will be streaming some Super Mario Party. So come join us on our Twitch. That's twitch.tv/AllYouCanHear. And yeah, it's going to be a fun time. And if you're listening to this on Friday, Monday, we have a new episode of the podcast coming out where we unveil the best anime openings of all time bracket. 64 openings made the bracket. And yeah, we go through the bracket. We do sort of a reveal show, sort of like Selection Sunday, if you're a basketball fan. And
I'm a basketball.
Yeah, Colt's actually just a basketball.
I'm a fan of baskets.
Ooh, okay. I do love a good weave, like a basket weave. And as always, you can follow me on Twitter at Tanner1495.
You can follow me, Wenzel, on Twitter at Winsy Wilkie. You can follow my art Instagram at World of Winsy. Thank you for listening.
I am Colt, and you can follow me on Twitter at ColtD00. Flame on.
This is Patrick. Thank you for listening. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at John Lost His Name. You can follow my art on Facebook at John Lost His Name Art.
And we'll see you guys on Monday.
Bye-bye.